5 steps to more energy and longevity. And today we have Robin Keller with us, and he is more than a fitness coach and mentor. Is an advocate for keep everyone healthy, fit. And I remember when there is something that is priceless is your health. From the millionaires that I know, all of them will change all the money they have for one more day of life. So, Robin, tell us, what are the 5 steps to more energy and longevity?
Welcome to Entrepreneurs Are Leaders podcast with Harry Sardinas. Interviews with world's most influential entrepreneurs that share tips about how to grow your business exponentially. Charismatic speaking, leadership, branding, marketing strategies designed to help you monetize your knowledge, find true happiness, and manifest your goals and dreams.
Great. So what we have to maybe understand first is how longevity and energy, how they play together in that sense. In the last episode, we actually covered a lot regarding nutrition, regarding exercise, all of that. But what a lot of people don't understand, and why I think it's very valuable if we maybe touch initially on that, is the aspect of recovery. Because recovery is the thing that's going to help us then perform at a high level. Because high performance doesn't work without high recovery, so to say. And when we actually put it onto into, let's say, a pyramid and a hierarchy of what is most important when it comes to living longer, feeling healthy, feeling energized, having a healthy body composition, meaning, not getting overweight, managing your physical condition. Recovery is actually one of the fundamental pillars together with nutrition and exercise. Just to make an example how important that is, maybe. When you put, there have been studies done, when you put two people on the exact same diet and the exact same workout protocol, and you deprive, they split it into two groups. One group was sleeping 8 hours a night, and one group was the sleep deprived group. They slept between 5 to 6 hours per night. By the end of the study, they both lost the same amount of weight. But now here comes the caveat. The group that was sleep deprived lost 50% of their weight coming from muscle mass, from lean mass. They had the same diet, they had the same the training protocol. The only thing that they changed was the sleep. And the sleep resulted in them, instead of losing close to 100% of body fat mass, which is usually what people want to lose, not lean mass, they lost 50% of that. And that is literally how someone will decrease their metabolism and ultimately decrease their longevity, because muscle mass is also a direct indicator of longevity. So we already see how they super directly go together. Now, what is a step? Let's get into the steps maybe. The most important thing, or some of the most important things when it comes to good recovery, obviously, is our sleep, right? And sleep optimization is, especially in a high performance environment, is not as much valued as it maybe should, right? But we've all had it, right? Harry, do probably too. You were okay, no, let me work a little bit later. I can cut a little bit of sleep, but I can get that done, which might be a short-term strategy every now and then. But everybody that's playing both sides of the game will know if you prioritize your sleep, you will be more productive, you'll be more energetic, you will get more stuff done. So let's get into the practical things. Most importantly is, besides duration, people think duration is the most important thing, but regularity is at least as important. So if you take somebody that sleeps 8 hours, or let's say 7 hours for this example, 7 hours every night at the same time, versus somebody that sleeps 7 hours, sometimes 11 to 6, and then, one day, midnight to 7. It's just irregular, there's no pattern. Even though they get the same amount of sleep, they will feel significantly more miserable. Their recovery will be significantly lower. And thus, obviously, everything else will suffer. Their physical condition, their mood, their performance, their cognitive function, right? And sleep deprivation also, that's why we're talking longevity. Sleep deprivation, so to say, or bad sleep, also has a direct impact on how your body metabolizes food. Crazy thing also that happens that a lot of people don't know is when you have a night of bad sleep, your so-called glucose management, meaning how well your body processes carbohydrates that you're eating will be impaired, and like it kind of like pushes you closer to somebody that would have type 2 diabetes. You're not getting type 2 diabetes, don't worry about that, but just like the shift that happens inside of your body will be closer to somebody that will be in that specific situation, you know.
Yeah, and then longevity of the most desired topics. I think that people become before you see people out there that they are 50 years old and they look like they have 80. And then you see other people that they're 80 years old and they're running a marathon. And then you see, wow, this is how this has happened. So really, age is a term that is not as accurate as here. You can find people that they have a metabolic age even younger that they are actually physical and age and the other way. So what are the what what are the secrets of that people can do in order to get younger, or meaning to delay as much as possible the fact that we're getting older, because it's something amazing is to have like to be old and to be fit. You basically live longer.
Exactly. It's a very valid point that you're bringing there. And what you're referring to is like, we usually categorize into two parts, which one is like your chronological age, your actual, okay, I've been born in this year and I've spent this many years on planet Earth, versus your biological age, right? How much have your cells aged? And like, how do you speed up the process of aging? How much do you slow down? We have like very famous people in this world right now. For example, Brian Johnson, who dedicates his whole life to reducing that with the most extreme measurements. But there's obviously like also practices that are doable for people who are not willing to invest like multiple millions a year into that, which is totally fair. Like I said, the thing is like for somebody that like wants to explore, and it's like very difficult to understand like information that is out there, you know, like because you see a headline here, you see a headline there, you know, and then they're like, oh, you know, like broccoli is toxic because of the phytochemicals and whatnot, and butter is like XY. The easiest thing that somebody can do is like, okay, let's look at the people who do very well in that, right? Who are like, what are the longest living populations doing? What are the healthiest people that you maybe in your circle know that look younger, that are healthier, that even though their driver's license or their ID says, you know, like 50 years, 60 years, but actually like they're looking more like, you know, like 10, 20 years younger. And you usually see like a big overlap. It's not like rocket science, right? Like they obviously like they have a healthy diet. They prioritize like lots of protein and lots of fiber, whole foods, right? They move probably daily in one form or another, preferably, like I said, resistance training if you can only pick one. And they probably also like having like a pretty good sleep hygiene, right? And to maybe like help on the topic quickly, like a few
Mm.
like simple tricks that everybody can do right now today to improve their sleep. Blue light coming from screens, TV, your office, or the nice lamp that's shining right now here in my face, the blue light that goes into your eyes, and especially close to bedtime, will interrupt your so-called melatonin secretion. Melatonin is the sleep hormone. Many people like heard about that. And when you get blue light, essentially white light, but it has blue particles inside, it simulates to your brain, it's daytime, we have to be awake. And when you go want to go to sleep an hour later or something, like your brain, like you've probably also been also in that situation, Harry, before. Like when you like spend a lot of time in front of the screen, then you want to go to bed, like you close your eyes, and like your eyes are closed, but you just feel like your eyes are shut up, like big open, right? And like maybe also the mind is racing and a lot of things. Um, to come to the tip, whenever you have to work late, your laptop and your phone have something that is called night shift mode, right? You can do that on your phone very easily when you go to your phone and you click on the display screen intensity. In the middle of the button, when you click a little longer on it, there's night shift mode. Mine is programmed every day from 7 p.m. forwards because I switch it always on 3 hours before I want to go to bed. And it will take out the blue light from it and will add more red light into that. because that's also like how our body responds. Because imagine like what type's the color of the sun shortly before the sunrise, the sunset?
Yes, like
It's red.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah, it's red. It's like it has more red particles inside.
Hmm.
And especially if you're working late night, I even have like blue light blocking glasses that will help filter out the blue light and will help you make like also like fall asleep better, right?
Oh,
That's a big
fantastic.
one, especially yeah, for like especially people who work online or on the desktop a lot. Very important.
Yeah. And then uh the superfoods. Do you think that there are any related type of food that because of the amount of the antioxidant and what we call as superfoods can help as well energy as longevity?
Yeah. Superfood is
And
main.
sorry to interrupt you. In our last podcast, we have a very good definition that stuck in my mind and was very profound, which is definition of good source of protein. I'm quoting you, Robin. Yeah, is double of protein and half of fat that you consider based on you consider that as a good source of protein. I'm also considering it as well. I'm checking now,
Mm,
and every time that I'm eating, I'm sometimes happy. Yeah, say, oh, I'm eating a good source of proteins following Robin
mm.
formula. So do you have any formula for right that good source of protein, good source of longevity?
I
No
mean, when
food?
to yeah, yeah, to talk about like the food choices and everything. I mean, just to like put something to back quickly, like superfood in 99% of cases is a term that is just like used for marketing, because it sounds
There you
sexy.
go. There you
Um,
go. Interesting.
however,
So sometimes
I
it says superfood and it's not, right?
well, or it's like just like super overclaimed. So I generally
uh,
like to put foods into three categories. Health neutral, meaning consumed in regular amounts, they're acting neutral on your health. Detrimental, that even in relative normal amounts, they cause problems to your health. And then have obviously like health beneficial.
wow, health detrimental. Wow, that would be nice to hear about those ones also.
Yeah, I mean, like to put it short, like baked goods. I mean, everything has its place, but if you're obviously like, it's always the dose makes the poison, right? You heard that before. If somebody look like in my example, I eat. People look at me sometimes like as if I'm a crazy person if when I eat an ice cream, and they're like, "Oh, like I thought you're healthy. I thought like you're like working out and everything." And then I'm like, "Yeah, like." And when you're eating the ice cream, it's like you're not looking at yourself like that. If somebody like already makes a lot of effort, eats a very balanced diet, exercises a lot, who do you think can tolerate an ice cream more? Somebody that doesn't exercise and doesn't have a healthy
Absolutely.
diet, or the other
Absolutely.
side, right?
Absolutely.
And the general like rule of thumb is like if you eat 80% well balanced, healthy diet, whole foods primarily, you can pretty much eat
Can you
20%.
define whole foods?
A whole food is a single ingredient food, meaning usually it's the type of food that doesn't have like an ingredient list. It's usually like one ingredient, like it's the whole, right? I mean, every vegetable, every fruit, every whole grain, every lentil, exactly. These
Hmm.
yeah. And
Okay.
then maybe like just a quick tip that's maybe like interesting, like how you can spot for yourself like quote unquote superfoods. Um, I mean, I don't know like what these days, I'm very resistant to these claims. There's obviously foods that are more health beneficial or not. What you can usually go by is when you look at the food and it has a very dark color, like rich, dark color or strong color, it usually means it has more what we call phytonutrients or polyphenols. These are also like antioxidants are part of that, which you mentioned
Hmm.
earlier. But for
Berries,
example,
beetroot. I'm a big fan.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you
Yesterday
just
I
like,
was actually sorry to interrupt you. I was actually eating some melon yesterday. I remember what we were sharing, and I was picking the darkest, the more intense red for the melon. Yeah.
exactly. So you can
And
always
for the
like think
papaya,
about
I
it.
was doing the same thing. Yeah, exactly
Exactly.
yesterday.
The darker the color is, the usually the more it has. I mean, that doesn't discredit, like if you make an example, let's say with vegetables, what is an easy comparison? Let's say cauliflower and broccoli, right? It doesn't mean the cauliflower is bad. Not at all. I don't ever want to think anybody that is bad. But if you would have to like pick only, or like you want to focus more on an antioxidant rich diet or a micronutrient denser diet, then when you look at the both, like, yeah, the cauliflower is white, right? And the broccoli is a dark, dark rich green.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Same with the berries and with fruits, right? When you
Mhm.
look, for example, at a banana versus blueberries,
Mhm.
not that a banana is unhealthy or something like that. I never would say something stupid like that. Sorry for my
Mhm.
language, but a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But the blueberries just like
Have
are
more
better.
antioxidant. Yeah.
More, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know if I shared with you, Robin, that somebody came to the podcast and she invented a cauliflower pizza, and she $1 billion industry. Can you believe this?
Really?
So
Yeah.
yes, she invented the cauliflower pizza, and imagine exactly as you described the cauliflower. This is the latest vegetable in the list, right? It doesn't have color. Nobody wants. Nobody cares about cauliflower. And
Yeah.
then she goes and she invented a cauliflower pizza. And of course, the people that cannot have the first client were the people that cannot, that are gluten, they have allergy to gluten and things like this, right? So that was the first client. Happened to be that the pizza become popular, and without knowing, she opened a new whole category of food that today is worth around $1 billion. She did this in previous podcast, her story. So look, even out of and that's okay, Robin. I want to ask you this because, for example, there are. I hear the other day someone, I think was from Spain, that they were doing flour from crickets, and now this flour is full of proteins and things like this, and change the whole game. So what is your viewing about this alternative food that coming out now, that some of them are I mean, a little bit polemic as well, because you farming an animal and so on, but apparently is that it have a greatest benefits compared with the normal flour that this it's a
Yeah.
disaster for the body. So tell us a
Um,
bit more about what do you think.
the whole insect food source topic. I mean, it started like probably like 10 years ago or so, like a big promise, like, oh,
Oh
this is
wow,
the
really? Is that all? Oh
yeah, yeah,
wow.
yeah. Like I mean,
I just
initially,
find
like
out
it's
the other
been
day.
no, no,
I
no, it's
found the
been around for a
clot.
while. It's been around for a while. It's been like, like the new sustainable food form of protein, and it's better and blah 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 and blah blah. A lot of people have promises into it. A lot of people, like obviously, like also invested into it. It just didn't turn out to be. The thing is, like, first of all, what people want, because in the end, like, you have a great product, but if people don't want it. Second of all, when you look from a nutritional science perspective on it, the problem is two things. First of all, the to digest insects were, or a big part of the insect were lacking the right enzymes. We're lacking the right enzymes. So the promise of like, okay, yeah, you get a lot of protein from it is like, yeah, we're probably not even able to like digest everything of it, right?
Oh
And
wow,
this
interesting.
and the second thing is maybe not.
You're claiming as a good source of protein, but the point is if the body can absorb it, right?
Well, now
Can
now
have the
that
protein, yeah, but one thing is have it. The other thing is how easy the body can absorb it, right?
exactly now, but we're coming now to the first problem that you're just mentioning. To consider something a good amount of protein, like we talked about, that like, it needs to have a certain amount of protein inside. The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, it
Mm-hmm.
needs to still contribute to your daily protein intake. Just because it has a relative high protein count doesn't mean it will contribute a lot to your protein intake. Because, for example, let's say, I don't honestly know insect, but let's say it has 20 grams per 100 gram, which is like kind of like what meat has, like kind of average. Would you like just to eat 100 grams of insects dry? Do you know how much that is? Like, I've seen like in the past, like when they were marketing it, like you've seen these bags with like dried crickets and everything, and the bags were like 80 grams or something like that. So
Mhm,
imagine you have to eat more than this bag to get somewhere close to like, I mean, if it's 80 grams, it's probably like 16 grams of protein.
mhm,
The whole bag for 16 grams of protein, which is nothing, like a Greek yogurt has more.
mhm.
And at the same time, it's probably not the most appealing to eat. And second of all, you can't probably like even like absorb everything. Even though I'm very supportive in general of ideas that help us have a more sustainable diet, food intake that can sustain the population that we have on this planet. It needs to be also something that is like realistic and actually like work
Hmm.
in the long run. There's much more interesting projects that are going on, but insects in my like I mean, unless they're not like like gene modifying like the insects to a degree where they become 100% bioavailable, and yeah, I don't see it realistically happening.
Yeah. So, Robin, I want to ask you a technical question regarding the reduced fat product. There is a theory out there what that, for example, you were talking about the concept of whole food, right? For example, if you
Mhm.
got a Greek yogurt, which is as a whole, as it comes plain, right, with the with the right amount of fat, whether some claims are out there saying people saying that the Greek yogurt, if you reduce fat, maybe the bacteria that is there, it might die or it's not cover the function. And sometimes you have yesterday I was remember you I was in supermarket and I found Greek yogurt as a whole. I found Greek yogurt with 10% reduced fat, and I find Greek yogurt also with zero fat. And so how this is what is your for example this particular product is very good for I consume it and the concept of good source of protein. Do you think that when we have a modified and reduced fat, do you think that will add to the properties of that ingredient? For example, milk, I you have
Mhm.
no fat milk, you have
Mhm.
full fat milk, but then you
Mhm.
have the in between, and in between, so that's even worse because they remove the real fat and then they put like a type of fat that is no as I'm saying I'm not generalizing. This is just an opinion, things that you read all over the internet. We know generalizing. Want your opinion about this clearly more than me. What is good practice, what is not good practice, and what is your opinion about the whole milk or the whole Greek yogurt with the full fat versus the zero, remove it, yeah, and then the low or is it?
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, like we're talking now on the topic of like food processing,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get also like often to hear like like oh like I don't eat like like processed foods, like this is bad for you, and like like they put processed without understanding the actual context of it. So just because the food is processed or even in some cases hyper processed,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't automatically disqualify it or like make it a quote unquote bad food, right? First of all, I don't think there are bad foods. I think there's only bad food patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm-hmm.
important,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you can have quote unquote bad foods, but it doesn't mean like you're getting unhealthy. Now, when we look at food processing, you always have to ask the question, okay, what does this processing mean? Because like in some situations, like food processing is that, I mean, the truth is like it doesn't matter what milk you're drinking, if it's low fat, full fat, like all of it is processed. All of it. Unless you drink raw milk, which most people probably don't, right? It's pasteurized, it's heated up,
Mm.
so you can keep it
No, you
longer.
cannot you cannot drink it raw because if you got a bacteria or something, people can get sick, right?
I mean, people
I
do it.
think,
There's people who do
yeah.
it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
wow, people will do it. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, I think
let's
it's
start. It's all process wasting from this point, right?
yeah. I mean, the thing is, no, like I mean, processed. How far do you go? But like, if you're eating an apple from a farm, probably like not processed. It maybe got sprayed a little bit, but which is normal and which is necessary in some situations. Um, but the question always have to be asked, like, okay, like just the fact that it's processed doesn't disregard it, right? Because, for example, like I said, whatever it is, if it's full fat, low fat, both of them are processed. Both of them have different nutritional values. That is the question that you have to ask, not if it has been processed. Because this is like, oh, it has to be natural, it has to be all of that. There is also something what we call naturalistic fallacy. So just because something is natural, people think it's automatically good. But there's a lot of natural things that are not good, and there's a lot of like artificial things or processed things that are very good for us, right? Snake
Oh
poison,
wow.
snake poison, very natural, right? Penicillin, very, very processed, very, very,
But
but has
can save your life, right?
has helped a lot of people. Exactly. So we don't should ask the question, is it processed or not? Does it serve a purpose? Does it have nutritional qualities? You know? And that's it's very difficult, like a one answer fits all. It really depends on yeah. If in your mind processed foods are cookies and chips and all
Mhm.
of that, like yeah, your idea of processed foods is not
Mhm.
great. But for example, protein powder. Let's say you take a plant-based protein powder that is a mix
Mhm.
between pea protein, rice protein, or whatever, and like some flavorings. Most people would improve their health if they would have more of that, but it's technically a processed food, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a
Mhm.
perfect example of like why how processed foods could actually
Mhm.
like help you improve that. And I know for somebody that doesn't understand the topic a lot, it can be confusing, it can be like very difficult. Like you essentially like have to understand, okay, don't believe what's on the front of the label if it says whatever it
Mm.
says. If it says high protein, if it says, like low sugar, low fat. What they advertise, the opposite is more of. So if it's something says zero sugar, it's usually like high in saturated fats, right? If it says low fat, it's usually high in sugar. So that's the kind of like that the nutrition
Mm.
industry is playing with us. But
Well, the food industry in general, right? Like exactly, you see. Robin, personal question: if you have to eat a yogurt, do you eat it as a whole or fat? If you have to drink milk, what do you drink? Personal question.
I personally, I don't consume any.
Why? But
So I mean,
if you have to,
if like personally, I would probably like go with a low fat milk because the
mm,
fat that you have from milk is saturated fats, and which most people have enough of already, which causes them to have like high cholesterol, um, like all sorts of like health problems that come with that in an overconsumption. So I would generally like go with a low fat version that has more protein, less fats, and all of that. I generally like with dairy
and with the
products. I would,
yogurt, the same thing, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
100%,
Okay, very good.
100%.
Then, Robin, the okay, in the same way that some food are bad and some are good in terms of our longevity and to have energy. How about exercises? What exercises are good and which ones are bad in order to have more energy? Because some people say, "Well, I'm exercising. I'm." In our last interview, you described something that more muscle mass you have, the like weightlifting, doing these things, actually would be at some point as good as to have good cardio because your body can absorb. And I want to add this an extra because I've been advised a long time ago something similar. I've been told that if I do a lot of exercise with the legs, it's good because the muscle of the legs are the bigger. And rather than lift weight and grow a small muscle in the arms, it's better to do legs exercise so you grow in a bigger muscle, and like this you can faster. So what, any comments on this?
There's a lot.
Go ahead, we're looking forward to
So
hear from you. I'm learning
I
a
mean,
lot. Yeah, I'm learning, I'm taking note, and I don't forget. Yeah, I remember
um,
even a lot of things from our previous interview, as you can see. Yeah,
it's great.
go ahead.
I mean, in general, like the idea is good. Like, you should train in general, like your whole body. And like, are there like to start at the very beginning? Are there any bad exercises? I don't think so. That you could really say that, unless the exercise, how you're doing it.
Which is are more
But
productive. If you don't have enough time or you don't like to do exercise like me, right? I like to
exactly.
play tennis, but I don't like to
Yeah.
go to the gym. Yeah, I don't. I like to walk. I like to play tennis. I like to weightlifting. It's gonna be so. Uh, so which one? Let's talk about which ones are more complete and better for your body as a whole. To, for example, if somebody like me doesn't want to go to the gym, okay, Harry, you don't like to go to the gym, so just do this legs exercise. Not that much. You build your muscle in the legs, and you can have the same result that probably have doing weightlifting with your arms. Or you can say, Harry, you have to do 360. It doesn't matter. I get it that you don't like the gym, but all the muscles they have to be worked equally. Or I know there is no shortcut, but any shortcuts for someone like me doesn't like to go to the gym. Yeah.
I mean, from the two options that you just mentioned, like definitely the second one. There's no like doing like just because one thing is better, like theoretically, I'm not saying only training legs is a good thing, but um, you like just because you're training legs shouldn't mean like you're training your upper body. Like train everything, right? But that doesn't mean you have to spend a ton of time doing so. It's not
Mm.
about like, like going to the gym and like trying to look like Arnold in his prime
Mm.
time because when we like a lot of men or like women too, like but like also men, they're like, oh, like I don't want to lift weights, I don't want to look like Arnold. Like I can tell you right now, like I promise you, you
You
will
will
never will.
never.
You will never will, right? Not even
Don't worry
close.
about. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like in most situations, people like people won't even that you're lifting weights, right? So it will go that far.
In
And
most
when we
of the
talk about
cases, right?
exactly. The thing is, the problem is
That's
we're not
funny.
trying to build muscle to a degree where it becomes like super obvious that you're like looking like a bodybuilder or something like that. It goes to the point because from 30 years onwards, you start losing your muscle. And it's about rebuilding that. getting back to where you've been. Because when you lose muscle, you drop your metabolism. Because with every gram of muscle you're losing metabolically active tissue. If you're losing
Robin, if you
metabolic,
walk a lot, it doesn't grow muscles?
no,
Oh my God,
no.
man, I
It's
don't
good
have
for
escape.
your head to clear your mind and like it keeps you active, but no,
Good for
no,
my
it doesn't.
cardio, but
If you walk uphill, it maybe like grows a little bit of your glutes, a little bit of your calves, but that's like a small fraction of your body. So to put it simple, like if you want to have a simple answer, yes, I don't. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what your goal in life is. I guess most of us like want to feel better and live healthier and all of that. Like in any situation, I would have somebody do resistance training. Like if
Mhm.
that's in lifting weights, if that's like doing body weight exercises, if that's doing outdoors in a like a wooden trail park or something like where they have like like
Mhm.
in the forest, that works totally
Robin, for
fine too.
people like it's almost 50 me, what do you think? 3 times a week? Every
Uh,
day?
no, 2 times is fine.
Often.
2 times can work a lot.
Ah,
Like a lot of my zones only do 2 times a week, so that's completely.
wow. 2 times
But
a
you have to do
week.
it the right way, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
somebody can say, "Oh, I the gym," versus others spend 30 minutes. Like you think, "Oh, the person that spends an hour in the gym like does better," but they're only scrolling their phone. They're doing shit exercise. They have shit form. They having no ambition.
Mm,
Like I go to the gym and I spend this much time in it says zero about what you can make.
exactly. It's how
Zero.
intense,
Yeah.
how well balanced your training, right?
Yeah, it's like I was like an hour in front of the screen. Like, yeah, you could watch like cat videos on YouTube, right? Or you can get like a lot of work done. Like it's two different things,
Yeah.
you know?
So,
But to
okay,
help it quickly,
interesting.
like maybe like just like on the exercise part, maybe that's like valuable. Compound exercises, meaning exercises that involve multiple muscle groups at once, and you can essentially get to just maintain what you have, or even build, like rebuild what you've been losing, with let's say 4 to 5 exercises, and you're good,
Can
right?
you mention them, Robin?
I mean, there's like variations of all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, like there's like you in certain movements. There's different, like for example, like I'm making an example. You want to have a horizontal push, right? A horizontal push meaning your arm go from the back here to the front, right? For
Mm-hmm.
everybody that can see me, from the back to the front, which is the equivalent for a body weight exercise of a push-up. In the gym, it could be a chest press or a bench press, right? So you want to have certainly a push motion forward. You want to have a pull motion coming back, right? You also ideally want to have a pull motion that tops from the top to the bottom, meaning a vertical pull, right? So we're pulling from front to back, from top to bottom. You want to push like a push up. Then you want to have a squat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be a leg press, or that can be
For the
body weight
for the
squats.
squat, you don't need anything. You can do it yourself, right?
You can yeah, with your
Mhm.
body weight, like single leg squats, or like if you're more in the beginning side, like
Mhm.
just body weight squats. And then you want to have what we call a hinge. A hinge essentially helps you to train the most part of like your spine, your glutes, your hamstrings, like
Mhm.
everything that is on the back of your body, because that's usually also a part where a lot of people are super weak in.
Mhm.
And that can be very different
Robin, this
things.
one that is one you come like one step that you go up and down, up and down, up and down, like you going upstairs.
Like you mean like walking stairs?
Yeah, it's like a step. It's in some gyms you find this. It's like a step. Like you go upstairs, right? You
Yeah.
have couple of steps, like 2 or 3, and there is in some gyms this one that you go 3 steps, you go back, you go 3 steps, you go back, 3 steps, up, down, like this.
I'm not
That's
sure. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you
okay.
mean, but like what you see often in gyms is like these electric we call them
Mhm.
stairmaster, that essentially like
Mhm.
that keeps you just like walking as if you were on
Ah,
stairs.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I that's cardio. This is not resistance training.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Robin, to sum up, the most of these exercise that you mentioned, okay, obviously you need to have the right frequency and everything, but in some parks, most of the machines are available for the people, right? So even I think the people what they need is the right trainer like you. But even okay, they can afford more. They can go to a gym, but some of those exercises that you like for a squat and the press and everything, I see them in parks. They're actually free. It's like access to everyone. The people only need to have the right routine in order to to do definitely you don't want to be in a position that your muscular mass I mean like you said, it's a fact after 30 years start to decrease. So we have to do something in order to keep it to because everything about life, about business, about everything is balanced. So final Robin, if someone is resonating with this topic that we're talking today, um, they want to work more depth in these concepts. How people can find you? How this process work?
Usually, I mean, like if you search for me, you find me probably like on every single platform. But my main ones are LinkedIn, Robin Keller. I'm also on Instagram, Robin Keller Official. And if you want to see like kind of like the system that we use that we've been proven to work with transforming hundreds of high performing men with no time, with a lot of responsibilities, with they've tried everything before. We can maybe attach that down below, but like it's thefithighperformer.com/strategy. And then you see the exact breakdown of how we transformed hundreds of high-performing men with a 98% success rate.
Yeah, definitely we will attach that. Robin, if you can send that, we definitely put in the description of the broadcast. And for all of you following the podcast, Entrepreneurs at least, see you in our next episode how brave entrepreneurs like Robin made business that made the world a better place. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.